This tutorial is to show you how to create edit region number rings of cells around wells with historical data in order to modify those cell properties for matching their historical data. In the previous tutorial movie, we showed you that there were three types of cells that we can use for regression analysis, and these are the SGA cells, ERN cells, and the FRAC cells. In this tutorial, we will concentrate on the ERN cells. And so, in the preprocessor, let's open up the file. I'm going to open up a file with historical data. So, in this particular case, it has historical data. And if I look at the edit historical data, I can see that the wells with historical data are three wells, 1, 3, and 5. These three wells have already historical data entered in them. So if I close the form, I'm going to try to find those wells, say show the edit region number, and display the edit region number, allocate a range of numbers. The legend scale goes from 0 to, say, example 10, for example. And because I have historical data, as I just showed you, a special form comes up. This special form is an allocate remove ERN cells around well locations for wells with historical data. It only shows when you have some wells predefined with historical data. So okay to that, and you can see that for those three wells, 1, 3, and 5, for their well locations, I'm going to define region numbers around them in order to modify the properties of those cells, much like as I have in the documentation. I'm trying to modify for particular wells. I'm going to allocate edit region numbers to modify the properties of the cells around them for history matching purposes. So by default, the edit region number would be the same as the well number by default, but you could have a different number. And we have two options here: A, to add a new ring, or D, to delete an outermost ring. Blank is no change. So if we want to, for example, in this case, we want to add rings around wells 2, 1, 3, and 5. I'm not quite sure which wells they are, but let's say I'm going to highlight the wells. I'm going to highlight the wells 1, 3, and 5 only. Put the well number on. So, okay. This is well number 3, number 5, and this is layer 1. I'm going to move to the next layer. Next layer 1, and then layer 3 is 1, 3, and 5. So these are the locations of the three wells that I want to modify the edit region number for. So in this case here, let's try to modify the regions for layers 2 and 3, for example, layers 2 and 3. So for layers 2 and 3, I'm going to add rings. I'm going to add rings and by default the region number will be the same as the well number. I need to select the row, so I need to say click this. Then I'm no longer able to modify the row itself, but I can select the row. So I can select those rows, and only for those selected rows, I can skip some rows, but in this case I'm going to select the rows 2 and 3 only, and I'm going to process those wells. First of all, for each time I click it, I get a question to confirm, add, or remove. Yes, I'm going to say yes, remove that. And if I look at my form, I can see that I have layers 3, I've added one ring, one cell. In layer 2, I've added one cell. I will repeat the process again, and I would go back and add another row, another ring, it's a yes. And now you can see I have 2. I can add another ring, I have 3. And if I choose to add only for well number 3, for example, I can just say add, and only well 3 gets that ring. If I can choose to say add again, I can only say that only that ring gets that ring. I can add again, and only that one. So this must be a predominant well. I can also delete. I can to delete, I must unselect that row. Go to D, delete, select the row again, and then process, and then I can delete. So this case here must be the ring number is number 3, or 3 unselected, type in 3, select that again, and say OK the process, and it says 3 is deleted. So I remove one ring of cells. I could make that to be, I could add a ring, I could unselect that, add a ring, and call that ring number, say number 9 for example. So I can select a row, click that, and process, and say add a ring, it's row number 9. So then add another ring, it's row number 9. So it's a composite region around this well with probably 2 sets of properties of porosity, permeability, or whatever you choose to modify, even thickness, gross pay, or whatever that you want to choose to modify. And that shows you how to use this form. This does not remove your ability to modify cells directly. So I can use the select grid area. I can choose to remove inactive, make this 0, apply to range, and this can go away. So I can choose. I can also manually modify the edit region numbers for these cells. So that is the end of this tutorial on how to edit region numbers for this pre-selected wells with historical data. Only the wells with historical data would have this capability. If you define additional wells with historical data, then you can see them appear in the form, and you can modify their well locations. Thank you for your attention.